This is Extra Time, Zambia's premier sports podcast, and I'm your host, Kapasa Wakapasa. With me today is a very special guest, somebody who's been a football player, been a coach, and is still a coach, a soccer pundit on TV, a commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, they say that football, the future of football is female. I have with me the amazing Melisa Saili. Coach, welcome to Extra Time.
Thank you, Kapasa. It's great to be here. And wow, what an introduction that is. Thank you.
Well, it says a lot about your stature in the game, Coach, and not just in the Zambian borders, but on the continent. We're proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, we've been there, so I guess it comes with the territory, if I can quite that.
Yeah. I like that way you say we've been there. Coach, for those who might not know maybe, can you tell us about your journey from the time when you had the dream, when you dreamt that bola kutituatea na ifwe, up to the time throughout your journey, and now there you are, a personality big in the sports, a coach for a professional football club. How's been your journey, Coach?
Well, Kapasa, if I'm to be honest, when we started this journey, when I personally started this journey, I didn't see me getting here. Because the time this football thing started, there was really nothing to dream about. It was just something that we were playing for fun. Because if I can go back to the time I started playing, I've been involved in this football industry for the last 32 years now.
Wow.
I started playing football way back in 1992, early 1993, when we actually had a team that was set up. We had programs with the Norwegian Football Federation. They were doing programs in communities which they called Sports for All.
Okay.
So Chilenjo community, where I come from, is one of those communities that had the privilege of having that program done by the Norwegian Football Federation. So they before they introduced the football, we had netball.
Okay.
So when the football story came, I was one of the first to show interest because I grew up this tomboy. I have in between two younger brothers and two older brothers. So these were my friends. And
your first best friends, yes?
Exactly. So most of the time I spent most of my time playing with them. So I was doing this boy stuff. And when we started playing football with my brothers, and then when the announcement came that there was going to be a girls' football team formed in Chilenge, I was one of the first people to jump on and join.
And how did that make you feel, Coach? This is like in a strange situation. Not many people would frown upon that. A young girl playing football?
Yeah, especially when I mentioned to my family at first, when I said, okay, there's going to be this football team that's been formed. My mom was the first one to disagree. She said, because she was already involved in the netball team.
Yeah.
So she said,
I call
you've been playing with your brothers, just leave it there. Ulef Mapanganda, go and play Kuchibans, and then what? And to some extent, I was daddy's girl. So dad was concerned, said, how safe is it?
Yeah.
We don't know the kind of people we're going to be meeting with. Which other friends of yours are going to be involved in this thing? Then obviously neighbors and society then saw it as taboo, if I can air quote that, to have a girl play football. Especially Kuchibansa, you go to the field and you're there. Said,
you should be in the kitchen,
exactly.
And that's learning how to cook and play football.
We were school-going kids. I think we were about fifth, sixth grade, the graders then, so it was kind of weird.
So there was all that stereotype, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, Coach, the team was formed, and so you liked how it was going, and this is interesting. Tell us more.
Okay, so the team was formed. I think I'm on record saying this a couple of times. We had 8 communities which were benefiting from the program by the NFF. So quickly, a committee was raised in Chilenge. It was formed.
Okay.
And then, interestingly, we never had a football. So we used to make the plastic balls.
Ichimpombwa.
Yeah. So we learned, as girls, we learned to make those. And we started by playing with those.
You could make Ichimpombo.
We could make. I think I can still do.
Wow.
We learned to not these ones. So we learned to make Ifimpombo, and then the chairman of the committee, which was formed then, sourced for a football for us.
Okay.
So this was a group of about 20, 30 girls coming at in one place at the same time. And we've got this one boy and everybody's chasing it around.
Yeah.
We are wearing skirts, you're barefoot. Some of us were in uniforms. I tore my uniform so many times I got bitten, I can't even count.
But the dream was still alive, hey?
The dream was still alive. So eventually my mom, got bought into the idea, and she became matron of the team that I played for. So we played between the 8 communities, Chawama, Kanyama, Bauleni, Charleston, Chilenje, Kaunda Square, and I think Chipata Compound. Okay. And Kawata, I think. Those are the teams that were there that time.
Awesome. And then you went professional. How was it like where you say, okay, now it's football. Now it's not that conventional journey of going into another form of employment. Now it's football. I'm going to play and I'm professional. Tell us about that, the national team and how you progressed.
I think the progression was kind of slow because obviously, people were not buying into the girls playing football seriously thing that time.
Yeah.
So even the commitment or the association, for the thing from the association was not really there. The association didn't really pay attention to that because I remember our leaders complaining that they thought it was just a waste of money and time to have.
Is that the Football Association of
Yes,
Zambia?
yes.
Okay.
So the Lusaka teams came up with a committee which they called the Lusaka Province Women Football Association.
Okay.
Which my mom was general secretary. So this committee, they started kind of trying to make a professional, to move it from amateur to a kind of professional setup. Because now we said, okay, let's make a Lusaka Select. Let's do a Midland Select. Yeah. And then we reach out to other provinces which have girls football running. And that time it was only Lusaka and Copperbelt.
Okay.
So there was a Midland Select versus Copperbelt Select program. So it was, Lusaka goes to the Copperbelt, you play, the Copperbelt guys come here, you play.
And then, awesome. So how then did it make you feel like coming from such a background? And tell us about now things have turned professional and you're making your debut for Zambia. You remember your debut?
Oh, yes.
No one can forget that feeling.
That can't be forgotten.
How was it?
That feeling, Kapasa, was, I think I can't still explain it. Because now you're moving from playing in dusty pitches. Yeah. No, there's a feeling of using a proper boat for the first time. Because we had makeshift. Can I say makeshift? Is that even correct? Yeah, kind of. So the time we started using boats was one of those exciting moments for them. So the debut for the national team was with the under-20 sometime around, I think that was 2000. So we stayed in camp for about 2 months. We camped in Dola at the Zamtel College. And we trained like we were going to the military or something.
That's what it felt like, hey?
That's how it felt like. Because we are hearing stories that the team you're facing has been there. These guys have been involved with South Africa.
Ah.
Yes. So these guys have been involved. They've had a national team since 1993. So they've just been transitioning,
And was there some standout players on that team? It was Coach Desiree?
Desiree was, she was with the senior team that time. So this was the under-20 team, which had Posha Modise.
Posha Modise, yes.
This had Posha Modise, and then also my good friend Jabulide Baloi. These were some of the standout players for that under-20 South African squad. So when that team came, so now we come to Lusaka.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, since 2 days before the game, we're camped at the Chainama Hotel. Then everybody's, nerves. Guys, but this one is I. Is that Chaya? Like, we will. Come on. So on match day, the briefing is done. The coach calls his first 11. Like, okay, did I just hear my name? Okay, coach, am I playing?
Am I starting?
Yeah, you have to start. I'm like, okay. Funny enough, I developed a stomach pain. I think I got a stomach bug during warm-up.
The nerves, coach,
the nerves got to me. But then we had one confident player who was pointing out everybody in the terraces. This match was played at Woodland Stadium.
Okay.
And this is my area. So everybody's like the stadium is packed.
So this was a proper home game for you.
Proper home game. Like everybody
In your
came
hood.
to watch. And then there were three of us from Chilenge. There was Coach Masie, who's now with she's coaching Z-Pro. And then a former friend of ours, Deborah. The three of us were from Chilenge community. So everybody knew us there. Veronica, Coach Masie, you know. And I'm like, guys, stop screaming my name. Come on. So our friend is pointing out everybody. Priscilla Wenechomba. So like, guys. Okay, so fast forward, we played that match, and I think it was one of those exciting matches. It was people expected us to lose by some embarrassing margin, but we only considered a goal late in the towards the end of the game. So we lost that game by a goal to nil.
Okay. It was not a bad start. So
No, it wasn't.
Well done. That's a nice one, Coach. And after that, the rest is history, as they say. And how has been the transition from playing, then you retired and went into coaching and punditry?
Well, I think my interest for coaching, I'd say, would come when because I played my last international match sometime in 2002. Because between 2002 and, by the way, we had the inaugural COSAFA in 2002. So I played my last international match, I think that year in November, and then I had started to pursue a career in public relations.
Okay.
And then I got married, got pregnant.
Okay.
So I came back to football 2 years later after I had my son. And then I went, 2006, I worked as a PE teacher in South Africa, in the Northern Cape.
And then you're easing your way back into the game,
I was easing my way back in the game.
Okay.
So when I finished that program, I worked for that I worked in that program for 1.5 years. So when I came back to Zambia, there was a coaching course which took place under the KNVB.
Yes.
And I was fortunate enough to get invited because they were looking at empowering former women footballers. Okay. So they were the target for that training. So I was fortunate enough to be part of that. And so we said, oh, this is interesting. It was a week-long program. So we said, oh, okay, coaching is interesting. Maybe we can give it a try.
Coach. Can I put a comma somewhere there?
Please.
From your experience, you've mentioned that something which a young female footballer out there is you want to say, should you get married or get pregnant, your career is disturbed. What would you advise? What's your take on that?
I think pregnancy or marriage shouldn't be the end of somebody's career.
Okay.
It depends on how you feel you can handle it. I felt I could handle it, although I did face some opposition along the way, such that my relationship got strained, and we ended up going our separate ways because I chose to push my coaching career.
Okay. Awesome. It's a good thing that you in the end it's something which turned out well for you. Look at where you are now. And Coach, throughout all this journey, would you pick something which you can say has been the highlight?
As a coach or as a player?
Let's do as a player. As a player. Because as a player up to the time now when you started coaching, or would you like 2 highlights?
Well, as a player, I think I mentioned earlier that we never really had so many programs lined up for us back then. But when we took part in the COSAFA, the inaugural women's COSAFA, because by now we had graduated from the under-20 team and we had been drafted into the senior team.
Okay.
So Zambia took part in that COSAFA and we came out third. I won my first medal, a bronze at that COSAFA.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, so as a player, that would be my highlight. Okay. Because the rest of the games that we played were never really bought anything out of them. So as a player, that was my highlight, winning that COSAFA. Obviously, along the way, locally, we did win a few accolades here and there, but winning that for Zambia was a major highlight for me.
Awesome.
And then I think as a coach, also would be the 2012 Zone 6 games. We won gold in that tournament. The girls under 17 team, I was coaching then. So we won gold in that tournament. And then the following year, obviously, we qualified to the under 17 World Cup.
Any players from there who people can relate to now?
Half of the team you're watching now.
Half of the CopperQueens.
Half of the CopperQueens.
They went through these able hands.
Half of the team. If most of those girls were part of the team that we started.
Well done, coach. Look at you. And also, tell us about the punditry. You do a lot of work with the continental games when it comes to analyzing and commentary. What's the highlight there?
Well, also there. That was like, if I'm to be honest, I never really expected that I would even get to that. Because I'd never even dreamt of doing punditry.
So that's like the icing on the cake.
I think it's just the icing
for that little girl growing up in Chilenge.
No, like where you're seated, you've got no idea what you're thinking, and then your phone just rings, and someone says, "Would you want to work with us?"
Okay.
What do you mean? Would I want to work with you?
So how does this happen, coach? You just get the phone call and they tell you there's a ticket we're sending you.
No.
Tell us about the first time.
The first time, I would be failing in my duties if I didn't acknowledge the person who introduced me to this. First of all, before this whole super sport thing came, during the 2020 Olympics, after the 10-3 bashing by the Netherlands, Makondo called me. Makondo he was with Supersport. So Makondo calls me and says, "Coach, would you like to come and feature on the show? We talk about the game that was played yesterday." So obviously I had a lot in my chest to say. Yeah. So I said, if I go on air and say what I want to say, I may step on a lot of toes. So I'll pass. Thanks. Let me keep my comments home. Mm-hmm. So then fast forward to 2 years later, I'm home, I'm having a cup of tea in my house, and then he calls me again. Sema, Bwanja, sorry, I have small talk. And then he says, "Would you leave the kids for a bit, like for a few days, go make some money?" Like, what do you mean? Yeah, like, no, there's some money involved. I want you to make some money for the kids. So would you want to work with somebody to get that? So I'm like, okay, as long as I'm not doing drugs or killing someone, yeah, bring it. What's up? He says, okay, somebody will call you. And then 20, 30 minutes later, I see a South African line, in a WhatsApp call. Hi, Mel. Yeah, hi. This is Zodumo. I'm calling you from Supersport. I'm like, wait, is this a prank? So she says, "No, actually, I got your number from Marco. He says you'd be interested in doing commentary with us for the WAFCON." I'm like, I'm interested in doing what? So I thought you had this discussion. We're considering bringing a former Zambian player on set to analyze the WAFCON. So we got your contact. Are you interested? Yeah. Wow. This is a challenge. One part is saying, no, don't. Then the other one just says, so I find myself saying yes. Good. Yeah, so I receive this, okay, can you please share your email? So I send my email, and then there's a whole lot of papers in my inbox, so a whole lot of things to read, a whole lot of papers to sign. So yeah, fast forward, I never even told my family that I was going there. Okay. I didn't tell anybody that I was going to do commentary. So on the day I was leaving, the day before I left, I just said, you guys get ready, you're taking me to the airport tomorrow. And still, even when you were going to the airport, they didn't know what you were going to do, where you were going. They didn't even know where I was going. They just heard your voice on TV. They just said, "I'm going. Where are you going?" I said, I'm getting on the next flight to SA. So they leave me off. I get there I was on the 19 o'clock and 7 o'clock flight. I was there at about 10. I checked in. After checking into the hotel, now I text. I'm like, oh, I'm safe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. This is a typical mentality of a daring footballer. Yeah, so in the morning they tell that I know that now I'm talking to these Supersport guys now. So they're saying, okay, so your pickup is at 3. Yeah. You're analyzing the first game. Like, I'm not even prepared. Like, why? So you haven't been checking your emails. So I check my emails. I've got the schedule, the running orders and whatnot. I'm like, okay, what was I doing all this time? So they pick me up, they do my makeup, they do wardrobe. And then next thing I'm on set. I just told my family, I said, okay, tune in to Supersport at this time. Now, in that moment when they tuned in,
Melisa, I can imagine have they ever told you what was their reaction? Because this is the young girl they were not really supporting to start or to pursue football. And there she was on TV.
My dad
How
will
did it
kill,
hit them?
my
Did he
dad
ever
is
tell
gonna
you?
kill me for this, but my dad is a very emotional person. Apparently my dad cried because he said, Yo, this girl, it's like he still
Wow.
calls me this girl. I mean, I'm 40 plus. So he
Wow.
says, this girl, did she tell anyone she was going to do this?
So he was so surprised that it brought tears to his eyes.
Exactly. Yeah, so he cried and then he was looking at my kids. He was looking at my younger son. He's like, Malachi, have you seen mommy? And then my
Yeah.
son is like, Mommy's on TV. And then, this reaction from everybody else in the house. And then they take out their phones. They start taking pictures.
Yeah.
And then, funny enough, somebody even tried to video call me to confirm that I was really the one.
And it was you on set, hey.
Yeah. So I think that's how the punditry, we transitioned into that. Because also, I was really, really nervous. I was nervous. I sat in one position throughout. I couldn't even move my hands. I sat on I was like,
That was a TV debut also.
like, okay, so like, is this the entire Africa watching, or is it just in Zambia and South Africa? What am I even saying? What am I even doing here? So it was only after we had finished, after the rap and whatnot, and I got to social media, and I'm like, oh wow,
That's me there.
this is me making noise on social media today.
Fantastic. Now, Coach, for a long time now, for a long time in the women's game, there's been all these allegations about coaches and officials in the women's game. They're alleged to sometimes make sexual advances to players. And from your experience, is this real? Does it happen? And how does it affect the women's game in Zambia?
Unfortunately, I can confirm. I don't know about now, but during that time I was playing, I can confirm that it happened a lot. I mean, I can confirm because I myself was a victim.
Is that so?
Yeah. I was a victim of sexual abuse, sexual harassment by a coach.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when they appointed this coach to come and coach the women's team, there was a lot of whispers in the background by people who knew him, because they said, "Bamtwala kuba nakashi, mkomfu wako."
Is
No.
it?
Yes, because we thought at the time they were making those appointments, they would actually bring somebody we had already worked with in the women's game, because we had our own coaches who we were used to, and these coaches were the ones who even conducted the trials.
Yeah.
So this coach just came at the very end after everything else had been done, when the team had already been formed. It just came in. So he came and we could tell that he was somebody who could actually fear, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'd use language which we weren't used to.
It was uncomfortable for you, the
It was very
players.
uncomfortable. Yes. So he actually tried to force himself on me, and I reported to the head of delegation and to the team manager then. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who had taken that complaint to them. So in my time, it used to happen. I'm not sure about now, but it happened to me. So I can confirm that for us, it did happen.
It must be that was very unfortunate. And it must be very difficult for a player to really open up and think, okay, if I report this, I might lose my place. This might be the end of my dream, and look where I want to go, and I might let other people down. So what do you think are the support mechanisms that are put in for players to be able to open up in such situations?
Well, I think sadly for us, instead of being protected by the females that we had as leaders in that group, they chose to sweep it under the carpet. Because the first time it happened, they said, "Mwilando kulikonse. Tualabe itaba coach will sort it out with him."
So describe for us here, Coach. You as a young girl, you went to someone you're comfortable to report to, and then they hush you. But how then did it? Describe how then did other players also open up? How did you get it out to to start this where people were able to speak about it?
I think it was the unity that we had as a team. We were so together. We were so, there was so much cohesion. We had been together for a very, very long time. So it was really difficult for many of us to keep it in.
Then someone would go, "No, never niguida."
So we said, guys, because for me, I ran out of his room crying, and I just opened the very next door, the very first door that I could. Because I didn't know, we were camped at the Parliament Motel, and we didn't know, this was just on the first night that we got into camp. We were not familiar with the rooms our colleagues were in. So I didn't even know whose door I was opening.
So this is like, this is like somebody lures into their room like, as if it's to meet and discuss the game with you.
Nishwa studied a ball. Why did you choose football? You could have done a different thing.
Yeah.
No, okay, what a skill. You're a good player, but to the Okay, coach, so what do I do to improve? No, what you do is enough. So we talked football for a bit, and then the questions became uncomfortable. What got a boyfriend? So I'm like, then the next one was even worse. What is she kissing? So now I could see that the conversation was getting from a comfortable one to something I wasn't going to like.
Yeah.
I was preparing to get up when he jumped from where he sat and he pinned me down to the bed. So I don't even know where the strength to push him off came from, because he was a huge man. He was big. So I just pushed him off. I just opened the door and opened the first door that I could. And fortunately for me, it was my friends. So I was screaming, I was crying. And then the people heard the cries and the screams. So everybody was like, who's that? Who's that? So they came into the room I entered. And then I think at some point, some of my friends even protested. They said, we don't want to go with this coach. If this is what he wants to start doing, then we don't want to go with him.
And what then? That was very unfortunate, coach. What then do you think should be put in place now to protect a young girl, as was in your situation? What could have been done differently?
I think now there are so many. I think the organizations now which are offering this. I don't know if I can call them counseling services, or just open safe places for girls to go into and talk about ordeals that they go through. So I think there's been support now.
Yeah. At least people can speak about it.
People can speak about it without having to worry about losing a place. Because us, we were even threatened. And it happened here. It happened when we traveled to South Africa for the reverse fixture of the game that I told you about earlier.
Yes.
So we go to South Africa and the same thing. The coach does the same thing.
Oh, no.
So I was like, oh, cool. I can be in the terraces. I'll get back on the plane and go home.
Jeez, that was a bad experience. And the good thing is that now a young girl can feel safer, and there's a mother out there, a father out there who's supporting their daughter's football career.
Actually,
what would you say to them?
There's what they're calling safeguarding, and the safeguarding officers in teams now.
Okay.
So even when the national team is traveling, we've got security detail now attached to the team, which wasn't the case in my time. So there's a security detail there, and there's a safeguarding officer there. So chances of most of these things happening are slightly lower, because now there are these people looking after the interests of the girls.
You know what I'm happy about? There is a parent out there who's hearing this, and they should rest assured that their children are safe in women's football in this day.
Yes.
And thanks to you and your experience and your team, you guys, you laid that foundation for the game to be better now. And now, coach, there's
I don't like the look on your face.
Okay, should I change?
Okay.
Well, coach, abantu balalanda these days about how a lot of the girls in the not just the CopperQueens, but many female footballers out there, how do they dress? How do they portray themselves? There are whispers that there's a lot of masculine touch to it, and some maybe can say, well, these people are probably inspired by Neymar and I want to dress or walk like Neymar. So, for example, they'll be inspired by a male footballer. But what's your take? How are these players portraying is there any substance in people getting concerned about how our stars are dressing?
If I've always been girls, eh? Although there was a phase we tried the table cuts and the brush cuts, but we never took that far. Well, I think I'm not the right person to talk about how my players dress. And maybe it motivates them to perform better when they dress like that.
So they just have to be comfortable.
They have to be comfortable in their clothes. I mean, I can't imagine Barbara Banda in heels and a crop top or
yeah. It's well, okay. It's about being comfortable in yourself.
It's about being comfortable in themselves. I mean, like you've said, it's a trend. If I can call it a trend, maybe it's a trend to see female footballers dress like that. A lot of these even big stars, across the world, they dress like that. So maybe our girls draw inspiration from like Abby Wambach of the US. If you see Abby Wambach, you think it's a man. So look at Rapinoe. What's her name? Rapinoe. Megan Rapinoe.
Rapinoe? So it's global.
It's global.
So coach
Martha may put on lipstick on the pitch, but she dresses like a man. She never wears dresses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's so you can then say that these conversations are not handled with fairness.
Well, maybe to some extent, because unfortunately, some of these girls are stigmatized based on how they dress, which I feel shouldn't be the case, because a dress should never define how you see a person, I think, if I can put it that way.
Okay. Well noted. Well noted. It's good. Now, coach, there is also now this is something which maybe you can, you did whisper in the background sometime last month about some experience that you had on the technical bench in one of the Copper Belt grounds where you're playing, where your team was playing. Before you go into that detail, how is it? How is it for a female coach like you coaching a men's team? First, how is it you coaching the men's team first before even the opponents come in?
Okay, I think for me, it's not something that just happens now. I think I did an interview some 4 or 5 years back where somebody asked me my long-term dream, like where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yes.
So I had actually said I would want to be one of the first female coaches in the Premier League to coach a Premier League side.
Okay.
Well, okay. It's not exactly a Premier League side, but I'm at the moment
You're on your way there.
I'm the only female coach in the National League for men.
And your team is sitting up top there.
We're on 3rd position.
On your way to the Premier League, coach. Your dream could come early.
I hope it does. So it was kind of a challenge at first.
Yeah. Any barriers there? How did the team accept you?
Because at first it was difficult for the boys to accept that they've got a female on the bench. Because obviously we still have people who think females can't do much in terms of like female coaches. You can't go and stand and start coaching a men's team. But once that barrier was broken, I showed them my professional side. I said, I'm not here to play. I'm not here to do chimboya.
Yeah.
So if I say we've got an exercise, no, we need to do this. It's my turn to do this, to conduct this session. You give me your time, give me your ears. I'm the boss. I'm in charge.
Fantastic.
And they do that. Unfortunately, they call me Cinderella because I'm the only female on the team.
Your players call you Cinderella.
Everybody calls me Cinderella.
With Cinderella, there was one part about the shoe not fitting.
But it fits.
The boot now fits.
I read back. When they call me Cinderella, I say, no, actually, I'm the rose among the thorns. So.
Aha, I like the sound of that. Now, coach, the players have accepted you, your team accepted you. Now, society as a whole is still in the space of accepting a female coach leading a men's team. What's been your experience like when you go out there in the arena, you're on the bench? How do the opponents treat you? The supporters. Let's go, Kuma support.
Supporters first.
Copper build.
Copper build people can talk. It's just that I've developed this really, really thick skin in this our industry.
Yeah.
Because the words that were used, I get goosebumps when I think about them. So I'm working out with my counterparts. Now we've got our cons and our footballs to go and set up for warm-up.
Okay, this is pretty much warm-up.
This is pretty much warm-up.
Match day, let's go.
Match day. So now I'm like, ala, but sola boloko. I'm like, guys, okay. Anyway, why did team ne pa bench?
Don't tell me.
They're screaming. I can like they're practically in my ear. I can hear them. And then I'm coaching a team.
Yeah, Mayo.
So I'm like, wow.
And they're doing this because they want to set you off balance.
They want to set me off balance, but then they don't know that where I come from, I eat that for breakfast.
Aha.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So we go in, we set up, then we walk back into the dugouts to go to the dressing room. And then the crowd is, it's growing bigger. Because then there were very few people in the stands. And then now the crowd is growing. So the time you're walking out to come and start warm up,
It's pumped.
it's pumped. It's like it's packed.
Yeah.
So there were whispers. Now people are telling each other, I never got no man catch the bench, So now everybody's rushing to see this female on the bench.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be intimidated. So I walk out. I give instructions to the guys, take them through the paces.
Yeah.
And they're like, expect to beat us.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we lost that game. We lost. They scored us. They scored that they are going the 90th minute. That's when they scored. Oh. So now after the game ended, there's this big crowd outside.
Yeah.
Because there were times when I would stand up to issue instructions to the guys.
Yeah, like during the game, you stand up.
During the game, I would stand up. I do that. So I would stand up to talk to the guys.
Excuse me.
So after the game ends, we are heading to the dressing room, and then where the bus is parked. Yeah. Our bus is parked, and then there's this large group of people. Basi, tuwaisa mkulanda sorry. Sorry for what? No, tuwachimi toka sana. Machila ntoka. Tuwachimi toka sana. I didn't hear you. No, it's okay.
And weren't they surprised?
So we expected like nimbita mwafume na ngulimbi mwalalila or something like that. Then mwafuma mule imano kuima pa bench mule landa, and then the boys are even saying, Coach, bale suminish.
Wow.
Okay, Coach, sorry.
Wow, that's powerful.
This is like really impressive to see a woman. You're talking, and guys, there's a whole group of guys behind you, and they're letting you stand.
Yeah.
And talk to the team. So amayo mabombe. So this is how this thing works.
No, that's amazing, Coach. That's amazing. That's something great you're doing, breaking the barriers. And there are many coaches out there, many female coaches out there, and you're inspiring them also to step into that space and coach men's teams. Now, they say that the future of football is female. I'm sure you agree. Look at that smile on your face. What's the plan for, what do you think, first of all, female football is going to be in Zambia for players, coaches, administrators?
Well, it's actually I'm really happy with what has happened in female football in the last, if I can call it, 12 years. Yeah. So much has changed, especially in terms of how the teams are handled, how the players are handled, how the teams travel, how things happen. I mean, we had so much wrongs happening in the time I was playing.
Yeah. Could have been so much better, hey?
A whole lot better. Because if I recall one incident, we went to play South Africa. I think that was the last game I played for Zambia, November 2002. We left Lusaka. We were supposed to leave 3 days earlier.
Yes.
Then we left the day before the game, on a Friday. We get to Joburg, then we drove to Bloemfontein. We played at the Bloemfontein Stadium. So we arrived at 1 a.m. and the match was at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So we, at breakfast, then they tell the captain, oh, Audrey, we are going to... Actually, the captain was the current women development officer at Football House, Annie.
Yeah.
So they said, Annie, Muleako pre-match meeting. So I says, where's the staff we are going to present? Then here comes the shocker. The team manager comes and says, yeah, it's Nasi Abagiama Jazz.
No.
Jerseys, boats, everything.
Oh. Kwisa?
Huh?
Kwisa? When I see
Kule
a boat?
Saka. Apparently, those things are not even there. Because the kit we were using, the men would use those and then battle. Like if the men went camp, we'd even wash it ourselves.
Oh no.
That's how bad it was. Boats, we had to buy boats. The club you come from had to provide boats for you if you get caught to the national team. The only time the FA bought boats for us was, they bought Jomosono boats on the day of the match here in Lusaka. Jomosono boats had never trained, they had never used. And those things were hideous.
Yeah.
The studs were like...
Yeah, you have to get used to them.
Yes. So this was one of the incidents which I can say was so disappointing and not really... It didn't help the team because now we had to remove the jerseys we used for training and wash them.
To use in the actual match?
In the actual match. We didn't have warm-up kit. We had, I think it was 11 pairs of boots. The others didn't have boots. So if we were at the bench, we start without boots. So we had to hide our feet under the seats because the game was on TV. Yeah. So it was difficult to even do substitutions because I'm a boot now. So the good...
So kufunyamo work about the same size?
So no, but they were picking the exchange of boots. The substitutes were done and then mule chinja nyama boats.
Yeah.
So we were lucky when we go to the stadium, Vodacom gave us t-shirts.
Yeah.
So we used the Vodacom t-shirts as warm-up kits. Because they were wet. So we hung those and then we warmed up in the Vodacom.
What was the score in that game?
4-0. We lost.
You obviously got the 0.
Yeah. Yeah, so fast forward to how it is now and going forward. I think the strides have been amazing. The strides taken have been amazing, in terms of even inclusion of women in the sport. Now we see a lot more referees, we see a lot more administrators. There's been a rise in female coaches. And especially what I'm loving is the number of players we're exporting now to play outside of the country.
Awesome.
So for me, that's a plus. I'm happy that at least the foundation we laid is slowly getting to what we should have.
Well, somebody can say it's great strides, coach, but somebody then can say, what would be your comment about the allowances? The men get these big allowances compared to the females.
That's another cry that we need to fight now. But I think they equaled it for the national team.
For the national team, it's equal?
For the national teams, they
That's
equaled
good
it.
then.
They equaled it. But the same way we cried for a properly sponsored league for the girls, is the same way we are pushing. I think we are going to push for, fair, like in terms of those teams which have got female and male teams.
Yeah.
The difference shouldn't be much. At least there should try to be some kind of balance there in terms of how much the girls get. And most of the times, the female teams even do slightly better than their men's teams.
There you go. There you go.
There's the feminist now coming out.
You know what, Coach? It's been amazing having you and discussing such rich, insightful things that you've brought out in our show today. What would you say in closing to that young girl out there, that parent out there, and the administrator and everybody in football out there about your journey? How would you summarize it, and how would you encourage them to say that indeed the future of football is female?
First of all, I like saying this. You don't stop and throw a stone at every dog that barks at you. Mm-hmm. You never get to your destination.
Yeah.
So when you start a journey, push it to the very end. Obviously, there's going to be obstacles along the way. But with the right attitude, if you're resilient, if you're dedicated, and you're focused on what you want, it's very easy to push through any gender stereotype. It's very easy to push through any obstacle. It's easy. I mean, it's not always smooth. Obviously, there's so much to maneuver through, but with I've said with the right attitudes and just the push, the dedication that you show to it. The word is like an oyster. You break it in order to get the most out of it.
Aha, Coach, wabola. It's been amazing, and thank you very much. Sharikena abantu.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Where has all the time gone?
It dashes. Huh? We are on, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This has been Extra Time. Until next time, 20 bus. Thank you. Bye for now.